Blessed love to one and all. This is the Honorable Priest Isaac, co-founder of Rastafari Experience Antigua. For almost 2 decades, I have been advocating for the preservation and development of our national treasure here in Antigua, Green Castle Hill. For those who have read my ebook, Anu, Ancient and Modern, you would know of the importance of this hill, Green Castle Hill, that has countless of megaliths that align with the movements of the astronomical clock. This is scientifically proven. Although my organization has been mandated by the government of this land and the Department of the Environment to manage and oversee the development of this hill, Green Castle Hill, we are still humbly asking for your signature on our petition to stop the destruction of the hill as it's being used as a quarry site. This petition can be seen on petitionsite.com, Green Castle Hill. We of Rastafari Experience Antigua have also recently launched a GoFundMe page under the caption, Preserve and Protect Green Castle Hill. As we are the official custodians of this project, we are asking you to also visit our GoFundMe page and avail yourself of the information that we have placed there, which will give you a better idea of our plans for the future. Besides preserving the hill, our intention is to create a community that will connect the ancient history of Green Castle Hill with the generations in this modern time. As this unique national treasure has been totally forgotten about for a while, we now intend to beautify it with trees and plants that once covered the hill. We will be preparing a park for nationals and visitors to come and enjoy the scenery. Cottages, conference rooms, and the like will also be established to create an atmosphere conducive to visitors. In short, we are preserving this national treasure and giving it the respect that it deserves as the Stonehenge of the Caribbean. Green Castle Hill, help us to preserve this gem in the Caribbean. Blessed.
Did not suffer and die to give me an education to slight, oppress, or discourage my people. Because whatsoever education I acquired out of their sacrifice of over 300 years, I shall use for the salvation of the 400 million black people of the world. And the day when I forsake my people, may God Almighty say there shall be no more life for you. I unequivocally rejected the racist assumption of much white American Christianity, namely that God had created the black man inferior and that he had intended Negroes to be a servant class, hewers of wood and drawers of water. Well, I predicated my view of man on the doctrine of Imago Dei. All men, regardless of color, are created in the image of God. Now, from this premise followed the equality of all men and the brotherhood of all men. The biblical injunction of Acts 17:26 reminds us that he created of one blood all nations of men that dwell on the face of the earth. I was most interested in brotherhood within his own race, because if Negroes are created in God's image and Negroes are black, then God must in some sense be black. If the white man has the idea of a white God, let him worship his God as he desires. We have found a new ideal. Because whilst our God has no color, and yet it is human to see everything through one's own spectacles, and since the white people have seen their God through their white spectacles, we have only now started to see our God through our own spectacles. But we believe in the God of Ethiopia, the everlasting God, God of Father, God of Son, God of Holy Ghost, the one God of all ages. That is the God in whom we believe, but we shall worship him through the spectacles of Ethiopia. For 250 years, we have struggled under the burden and rigors of slavery. We were maimed, we were brutalized, we were ravaged in every way. We are men. We have hopes, we have passions, we have feelings, we have desires just like any other race. The cry is raised all over the world of Canada for the Canadians, of America for the Americans, of England for the English, of France for the French, of Germany for the Germans. Do you think it unreasonable that we, the blacks of the world, should raise the cry of Africa for the Africans? The Negro is the man. We represent the new Negro. His back is not yet against the wall. We do not want his back against the wall because that would be a peculiar and desperate position. We do not want him there. It is because of this that we are asking for fair compromise. Where the Belgians have control of the Belgian Congo, which they cannot use, they have not the resources to develop nor the intelligence. The French have more territory than they can develop. There are certain parts of Africa in which they cannot live at all. So it is for you to come together and give us a United States of Africa. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are not going to be a race without a country. God never intended it, and we are not going to abuse God's confidence in us as men. We are men, human beings, capable of the same acts as any other race, possessing under fair circumstances the same intelligence as any other race. Now Africa's been sleeping, not dead, only sleeping. Today Africa is walking around not only on her feet, but on our brains. You can enslave as was done for 300 years the bodies of men. You can shackle the hands of men. You can shackle the feet of men. You can imprison the bodies of men, but you cannot shackle or imprison the minds of men. Dive down, black men, and dig. Reach up, black men and women, and pull all nature's knowledge to you. Turn ye around and make a conquest of everything, north and south, east and west. And then when you have wrought well, you will have merited God's blessing, you will have become God's chosen people, and naturally you will become leaders of the world. And as you bow down to the white man today, so a lot of races bow down to you and call you a race of masters because of the superiority of your mind and your achievements. Because no race has the last word on culture and on civilization. They do not know what we are capable of. They do not know what we are thinking. They are thinking in terms of dreadnoughts, battleships, aeroplanes, submarines. You know what we are thinking about? That is our own private business. So give us credit for being able to use our minds. And with people becoming conscious of themselves, determined to use their minds, you do not know to what extent they can go. Liberate the minds of men, and ultimately you will liberate the bodies of men. We love the white race, not for social fellowship, but for the common brotherhood of God intended we should live. What satisfaction can anyone get in being happy and see his brother wallowing in filth, dirt, and disease? How can you be happy living in luxury and your brother's living in disease? And then when you try to help the one out of the disease, the subtle culprit talks about disloyalty. Black men of Carthage, black men of Ethiopia, of Timbuktu, of Alexandria gave the light of civilization to this world. Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands unto God, and princes shall come out of Egypt. Because classes, nations, races have been quite quiet for over 4 centuries, who has merely borne abuse, insult, humiliation, whose forbearance can only be compared to the prophet Job, has likewise lifted his bowed head and raised it up to God's skies and cried out, I am a man, and demand a man's chance and a man's treatment in this world. That I shall teach the black man, I shall teach the black man to see beauty in his own kind and stop bleaching his skin and otherwise looking like what he's not. Whoa. In the days of slavery, race mixture, miscegenation had occurred because the African woman had no protection from the slave master. Therefore, there is no need today for black people to themselves freely continue a practice that smacks so much of slavery. Our president said that the race problem will be solved through higher education, through better education, and black and white will come together. That day will never happen until Africa is redeemed. Because if those who like W.E.B. Du Bois believe that the race problem will be solved in America through higher education, they will walk between now and eternity and never see the problem solved. God made man Lord of his creation, gave him possession and ownership of the world. And you have been so darned lazy that you've allowed the other fellow to run away with the whole world, and now he's stopping you and telling you that the world belongs to him and that you have no part in it. I don't have to apologize to anybody for being black, because God Almighty knew exactly what he was doing when he made me black. If black people knew their glorious past, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves. Yes, you heard of Johnny Walker Red. Black. Well, he had his adversities, but he's still going strong.
each and every one. Give thanks for your presence. Give thanks for life. Give thanks for the keep of life. As we are here on the front line, we are celebrating Earth Day. We are celebrating Earth Strong. We are celebrating what ones would refer to as the birthday of Marcus Messiah Garvey. From Greenland, Icy Mountain is said to be Marcus Messiah Garvey's one of his more favorite hymns. And this is why we rise that hymn on the celebration of Marcus Messiah Garvey. From Greenland's Icy Mountain and mountains, yeah. And we give thanks for this is the 133rd anniversary of the born day again. What ones would refer to as the birthday, but in reality, they give you a born certificate by right, because your birth is from creation. There's no specific time on your birth, but when you came forth in the flesh that you are in now, that became the day that you were born. So we give thanks for the earth light, the earth strong, the born day of Marcus Messiah Garvey, the 17th day of August. This is 2020, the 17th day of August, 1887. Marcus Messiah Garvey himself. Give thanks for such a terror, the man who woke up and shook up the world and let everyone understand that Africa is for the Africans. Never done like that before. The presence of Marcus Garvey, so we're thankful. And remember, we still, at least until today, if you're seeing this on the 17th, remember we have been offering our video documentary, The Night of the Black Tiger, which is actually our third full-length video documentary, The Divinity of Marcus Messiah Garvey. And all we ask you to do is to email us and you will get the documentary itself. And of course, you know, tonight on the Shock of the Hour, for all those who are subscribers of the Shock of the Hour, we will be having a very special program tonight on the Shock of the Hour, which is our, of course, international radio program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Definitely we will be blessing up the whole spirit of Marcus Messiah Garvey. So all you subscribers, for sure, you could look forward to getting your full copy of that program, which will be here tonight. That is on the Shock of the Hour radio program. All right, let me go into the subject at hand. Now, for sure, everyone have seen the topic, and it is a topic that I think at this time was necessary for me to bring forward. Interestingly, this is not the first time, not even the second time, that I have attempted to bring this subject out. I have gone into prayer and supplication before even touching the subject, asking for His Majesty's divine guidance, even to address the subject. And in a sense, the subject was not even my idea. And trust me, by the end of this, I hope you have a little time to spend with your brother today. Because by the end of this, you will understand why it's not even a subject that I had any intention to talk about or to touch. And but according to the atmosphere it is necessary to address it. So again, many ones would say, well, listen, my brother, we gone past that now. No need to bring this up. This is not necessarily that important. We have greater works to do. Mas them kind of things just bring friction amongst man and man, and woman and woman. And a lot of what has been just said there, I would definitely agree with, and I would repeat again. I think that the subject was brought to the forefront because it's a subject that has to be addressed. And in a moment, you will see why I thought that I had to humbly bring the discussion to the table. And when I say humbly, I mean in full humility. You see, the sad thing is that, again, because of the atmosphere and the mentality we have, because by right, although you are correct, we have bigger things to deal with. To a degree, depending on what level you're talking, we done past that. But that is because we are uneasy amongst each other. So that has to be the first shield that comes up. Which one came first, the Nyabingi or the Bobo Shanti? Why the response is not, wow, that's a good topic. Yes, man, let's sit down as civilized human beings and speak about it. I would like to know. That's some good information for the archives. Is there something wrong with that? But then a lot of us, we are extremely religious as well. So at the same time, first and second and all of that stuff seems to affect whatever the dogma is inside of the being. But it is a good discussion. Again, I'm going to ask you to tiger with me, bear with me as they say. No grizzlies here. Tiger with me. Yeah. And it does tend to rise a certain level of tension and vibration and frequency at times. And I'm speaking of what I know, because on a personal level, if you want to say, I give you an interview on a personal level, I accepted the divinity of Emperor Haile Selassie I, 3rd of December, 1996. Like, accepted in the sense of, accepted. It was a morning. It was Revelation chapter 5, verse 5. And the Lion of Judah, it is he that was found worthy. And it's not as if I didn't know that already, because I was a person that, even from a child, always wanted to understand and know who the Almighty God is. I was like, the main thing for me, ever since, as far as I can remember. And even before putting the Jesus thing, because we grew up in that, and it wasn't even questioning that directly, but obviously unconsciously or whatever, because I I'm in that, but I still asking God to show me his face. Yeah, man, from a child, show me your face, please. Yeah, man, as a little youth I target, want to know God Almighty. Give thanks. So at that moment there now of the cycle of life, you know, as I said, meditating and seeking and, you know, going around and checking everything, everything, reading, studying, talking about the elders, different elders and everything, traveling just to get it. Yeah. Obviously, there was a magnetic pull to Rastafari. It was around. When I say everything, I mean not just Rasta, everything, studying everything. Because my concept was within the midst of all of these different religions, at that time I would just freely say religion. One of these religions must be the right religion. There's a lot of them, a lot. A lot. By that time I knew the Jesus thing wasn't the thing. I was positive about that. So I put that aside and checking the rest out. And it was a, yeah, and in one religion, they have different factions of religion. Studying, man, so yeah, checking it out. But the natural magnetic pull was to Rastafari, was natural. And I'm just showing you that also to say, and even before I say, so yes, it was the 3rd of December, I was like on my bed, reading the Bible. And as I said, prior to that, already searching, asking, inquiring. I used to work at a lumber yard, and I used to work around 3 Rastas, Clark, Arthur, and Seco. And every time, every day, it's just questions. I asked them, getting a comprehension. Every man had their own different levels still, but it's all right. That's what it was at that time. And yeah, fed me well. And yeah, just one morning there, that morning, just going through the scripture. And as I read it, I could feel it like as I was reading it, Revelation chapter 5, verse 5. Yeah, man, I could just feel the glow coming to me. And I said, yeah, that is the man. That's exactly what I said, eh? Yeah, that is the man. And I had a little sort of kind of altar thing. And mystically, the king picture was done there already, eh? Yeah, man, because as I said, it's like, I mean, it's like I had that already, you know, but because, you know, I'm a very precise person, especially when it comes to theology. I don't play with them kind of things there. Yeah, that's the highest realms to be in, the theological understanding of the sustainer that surrounds you. Yeah. And it was just that, and I remember kneeling and praying. And up to this day, you know, looked on the side and not straight up to the man that you meet now. So I'm just saying, but of course, as you know, as a young Ras, you know, a born again there, I grew up amongst the Nyabingi. That is what that is what the, if you want to say, the status quo is in Antigua. Different place may have a more concentration of 12 tribes. I was telling, as I said, to Priest Whitman, the Honorable Priest Whitman, if you ask a young child to draw a Rasta man in the Bahamas, they would draw a Bobo man because that's predominantly what you see. So around here at that time, at least I coming in, basically I would say on the open front, there wasn't really no Bobo Shanti to be seen. Although you had brethren that lived in the hills, way in the close to the original Rasta camp. that were wrapping up and taking up the order. Elders like Mountain and Zionai, Ignite Culture, and these different ones, Lion Eye, and yes, and I would go to the mountains, and the knowledge that I would have gained, I would have shared it with them. But I must say that it was in 97, 98, I think it is, that the Honorable Priest Jermaine from Jamaica, that's Rastas, came through Antigua, and he spent a moment with me. And also he met these same brothers in the hill, and he really brought the real understanding, because as I said, there was no Bobo Shanti around, you know, in the land as such to teach I what the real thing is. You know, the Honorable Priest Kushiba, who is a priest elder than myself, you know, who's also a special part of this whole picture. He's from this land, born in this land, but he resides in the VI at the moment, and at that time as well. So it wasn't as if he was around to teach what the order really. That's 96 we're talking about, because when I accept the king, you know, it's like a spirit, eh? It's like a spirit, I'm telling you, that I accept the whole King Emmanuel and Marcus Garvey. So you could imagine now that at that time, growing as a Bobo Shanti, that's what I grew as, eh? I didn't grow as nothing else, you know, not because I said grow up around Bingi. I did. But anybody can tell you from day one, these locks grow in this turban, well, not this turban here. Even if it may not have been wrapped the exact way at the time, before, as I said, the Honorable Priest Jermaine came in and showed me certain different aspects of the order. You know, he just laid it down on a totally different level for me. So when he left, I was on a different level there again, you know. And then I don't think it was a year after that, you know, I landed in Jamaica. And then I could tell you, you know, it's a kind of touching emotional talk I have here with you, you know, so don't feel no way. Yeah. But so that is in a sense a bit of the rites of passage, but I'm just showing you that so I was ever close to Rastafari. You know, I grew up amongst, and when I say I grew up now, I'm talking from when I, let's say, born again. I grew up amongst the Nyabingi elders of this land. You know, when the elders from Jamaica come through, I amongst them and see the whole play. You could imagine, eh? Remember, I said Bobo from that time, and it's not like Bobo around as such, as no congregation. An idea, because that's the Rastafari I see around me. But I know that, you know, I know who I deal with, the Black Rise. I had to defend myself many times, because I was everywhere. When man flying to conference idea, as a young little Bobo, traveling with the Bingy man there. Them is my brethren. What you gonna do? Leave me now because I come Bobo? I never live so. I never, ever, ever live so. So you can discard me. I make sure you don't discard me. Up to this day, you can't do me that. It's them levels there. I get a lot of fire, man. I get plenty fire. Plenty. As you can see, I'm still here. And I don't think nobody have no fire that can do me anything at this moment here. Now, again, the Nyabingi order, I know it. And let me just clarify this now. what we refer to as Nyabingi in all respect. In reality, it is the Nyabingi theocracy of Rastafari. It's a name. It's registered under, well, honestly, that part of it, I can't tell you the details here, but I would assume it's registered under, I'm assuming it's registered. That would be the name, the Nyabingi theocracy of Rastafari. You know, different, like, yeah, as far as the church goes, the Nyabingi theocracy of Rastafari. Nothing wrong. Nothing at all wrong. I give thanks. The Nyabingi, as we know, death to all the oppressors. The Nyabingi, instrumentally in the drums, the heartbeat, and the three main elements of the drumming, as Bobo Shanti referred to it as the Daniel #1 band. And the rhythm, the bass and the breath and the heartbeat and the 1-2 and the kete and the meditation, you know, the science, the Nyabingi order. The Nyabingi order is not limited to the Nyabingi theocracy of Rastafari. No disrespect. I don't even think you disagree with me. So the Bobo Shanti order, as we refer to it as, which is officially the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, is the Nyabingi order. That is, just be clear with that for sure. It may not be the way this one do their Nyabingi order, but this is how we do the Nyabingi order. Please accept all of what I'm saying as just a lesson, you know, because we have a lot more to say. I'm not going to keep you too long, but there's a lot to say. So just to kind of give a clarity, you see, young people are listening. Young people are listening, and there's space within the mind frame for a lot of understanding, comprehension, understanding and overstanding of things. So the Bobo Shanti order, just for clarity, is the Nyabingi order. Within Rastafari, again, there are many different aspects of Rastafari. And let me be clear here now. Rastafari, to me, okay, I always say, first of all, an individual that accepts the divinity of Haile Selassie I, to me, that's the primary definition of a Rastafari. That's it. It doesn't speak of any other thing, at least my definition of it. That's coming from me. What's a Rastafari? Well, the primary definition of a Rastafari is an individual that has accepted the divinity of Haile Selassie I. All what you're doing, man. Blacks could be sweeping the ground, italites, fullness, Yavibana, the fullness, and you have not accepted the divinity, not that the king was a good man, the divinity of Haile Selassie. I mean, I give thanks for your culture. I'm not upset with you at all. You know what I mean? You may be more Ras than some Ras. I get all that. But you cannot disqualify, you know, the credentials that have been given to us. Because it starts from the heart. Yeah, I know you love the emperor too. Yeah, man, and you even look the part, I tell you. But to me, this is me. the divinity, understanding the divinity, the fact that the divinity, not that he was a good man and you leave it at that boundary. No. If that's how you think, no problem, eh? I ain't fighting that. No problem. Hey. But I'm just giving you the credentials of what a Rastafari is. Someone that accepts the divinity of Haile Selassie I. Marcus Messiah Garvey accepted the divinity, you know, man. You can say what you want about Marcus, say this and that. We've covered this already. You can go through the YouTube videos, you'll find it. Marcus Messiah Garvey accepted he is the first man to clearly highlight Rastafari by name. We always speak about look to the east, but Marcus Messiah Garvey speaks of the prince that will become king by name. He said we expect great things of Rastafari. What's wrong with us? That's the same prince that shall become king in 1928, 27th of March, Elwes Park, that he says shall become king. And he shall be your liberator. That sounds like divine work to me. That's why we always say Marcus Messiah Garvey is the first Rastaman. Well, you know, Marcus Garvey didn't really say so. It was a play. It was a play, you know, it was a play. He had a play. Didn't really say so. That's what he had a play. And in the play, a prince in Ethiopia did get crowned king. And hear this, with his queen. Oh man, you add more flavor to the pot now. That's how we speak in Africa. That's one of the languages we lost over here. The language of the theater, the allegory. That's called allegory. To perform it in a play, all stories belong to a Nancy. So that is how Marcus Messiah Garvey's prophecy is played out in a play, in the theater. A prince shall be crowned king. And the man did say so. In fact, as I said several times, he mentioned him by name. The first Rastaman. Who will try to deny this one now? Even Marcus Garvey with this. But we're getting there. So I'm just kind of, you know, setting a foundation. I really hope you can tiger with me, eh? Please, I mean, just spend some time with your brother tonight, man. Or today, or whenever you see it. We're celebrating Marcus Messiah Garvey's birthday. You know, just kind of drawing a little premise there, just giving you an understanding of where we are, who you're dealing with, and you know, what we're going into right now. So really what it is, you know, from time to time, maybe you would hear me mention, you know, something of the nature, not really what is first, but ones always would come to me, you know. Up to this day, people still try it, not as much as before. That's why I kind of carried you through, you know, that little rites of passage. Yeah, man, ones would always come to me, hey, listen, brother, it's best you come back to the original way, the Nyabingi way. You know what the elders tell me? Emmanuel used to be with them, you know. Yeah, man, Emmanuel, the flag, they no Skype on no room, man. Emmanuel used to be with them. And he just feel that he could do something different. And he gonna set a, he gonna see, you know, go up in the hill in Bull Bay. And he never come out again. So it's best you and the brethren them come to the original way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, so why Emmanuel leave the original way there? Yeah, me, I go through this. Up to now, they have certain people that every time they see me, that's the scene. Yes, I praise, everything blessed. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Man, I wait for you to come home, you know. But I give thanks for the love, you know. And yeah, it may sound strange, but I give thanks for the spirit of ones that defend what they defend. I admire it much more than ones that try to pretend, and you know what I mean, like maybe because Priest Isaac is around, all of a sudden they're not this anymore. They're something else, maybe feeling that, well, I'm going to be happy because you're trying to be like me, or you're accepting what I accept, and because I say so, yeah, right. Nah, just be who you are. Just free up yourself. Free up yourself. That's the secret of life, man. Just be who you are. You know what I mean? What you see here, this is who I am. You know what I mean? You may not see everything, but everything ain't for you to see. But this is who I am. What you see is what you get. Ain't no faking this. So just free up yourself, be who you are. So if you feel to confront me, especially if you're coming with love, or if you're coming with love, oh man, that's just a joy to me. I happy, man, I tingle all over. Once you're not coming trying to make no lies and argue, I get a lot of that too. Things, I could give you stories where things, you know what I mean? Yeah. But what I'm saying is that from you coming with love and saying, yes, brother, yeah, man, good to see you, man. I love the I work. Yeah, man, yes, this and that, and yeah, man, love and that. This man, I have to talk to the eye, you know, so you're still keeping up this Emmanuel thing, you know what I mean? The eye sharp and everything, man. But the eye have to, you know what I mean? Remember the Nyabingi way is the original way, you know? Yeah, man, bridging. Come the man, where you deal with? Yeah, he's a smart brother, you know. Yeah, and you don't know. It's just life, you know, okay, you don't have to have a next set of people. Brother, you know, Jesus is the way, you know. You know, you're a brilliant brother. I hear you on the radio. You know Jesus is the way. That's life, isn't it? All these people are talking about this and that is the way. If I tell them, let's go in a room, you don't have to be me and you and nobody else, just me and you. And I give you an hour to talk, and you give me an hour to talk. And when I done talk, you ain't gonna have nothing to tell me. Trust me. Nobody want that. Nobody want that. And because you are putting it on me, you'd have to talk first. So I hear exactly what you're trying to tell me. Anyway, what I'm going to do, my family, I'm going to present to you a video here, a couple of videos actually, of a few individuals giving their opinion as it relates to the Nyabingi order, you know, especially in connection to the Bobo Shanti order. And the reason why, let me say this before I present this. Number one, the people them that you're going to see, I have never met them and I do not know them. They are Rastafari, definitely of the Nyabingi theocracy of Rastafari. Bingi man, straight up. And they obviously have some level of passion and fire and love for the Nyabingi order, which I just explained, that I respect. Okay, if that's the ground you stand on your ground. When I presented, you will see why I think that I thought it was necessary to present it in that fashion, because the subject is very important, especially after, hearing how the brothers express their heart towards this. And I said, even on a historical level, this is a subject that we need to at least look at. And let me be clear, this thing about first and who first. Okay, it's good to discuss it. But who first don't mean first is the best, eh? And you may be saying, these guys are backing out already. I mean, the Bobo not first for trailer. He's talking about first. Okay, hold on, just hold on. I mean, being the first has its merits, for sure. But even if you take your scriptures, there's so many examples of those who were not first. In fact, the first never make it. Neither the first Adam. Esau came out before Jacob. Jacob was the chosen. Esau get fling away. You know what I mean? Ishmael come before Isaac. Jah tell Abraham, Isaac is his only son. You have Ishmael, eh? Right there in the Bible, the only son. Ishmael was first. You know what I mean? Israel, the nation itself, Israel, was considered to be the youngest amongst the nations, the smallest. And in a sense, remember, Israel as a nation came from the loins of Jacob. So in a sense, Jacob, okay, outside Isaac and Abraham then, let's say Isaac and Abraham, these were not Israelites. Jacob became Israel, so I guess you could officially say he's an Israelite. But Isaac, Abraham, and whoever going up the line, Noah, full work, officially you could say they are of some other nation, let's use the term in the biblical way. So I'm just showing you, so Israel, the chosen, was not the first. David, when Samuel came to pick the king of Israel, he asked Jesse to bring out all his sons, and Jesse bring out all his sons except David. Samuel checked them out and strapping and big. Samuel said, nah, man, this not right. Samuel said, Lord, you should ask the man if that's all his son. Brother, you sure you give me all his son? Yeah, look at all here, nobody else there. I mean, well, I have a little baby in the crib, but it's not really a baby in the crib, but I just kind of showing you the extreme levels of this. It was the little youth checking for the sheep, and yeah, I mean, can't be him. These are the firstbred. This is my firstborn son here. Look at him. Got to be him. You know, so I'm just showing you from on a principle level. The first thing, I mean, it's kind of outdated, you know, it's kind of out of style. Take it easy, man. Things evolve, things get better. You understand? Those who check for evolution, they will tell you the first humans were not the perfection that you have today. So listen, I still think that it's necessary for me to present what I'm going to present. As I said, this is not the first time I've attempted to do this. This is a very heartfelt subject for me. Not just the topic of the subject, but the things I would have to go through and weave between to express the topic properly. As you could see, we don't answer questions yes or no. You may say, okay, the question is, which one is first? I know some of you straight up. Which one is first? The Bingy or the Bobo? They mean to say the man have to say all of this to answer that. No, the man don't have to say all of this. This is a program for people who come and sit in because they know the value of what is coming out of the man's mouth. So they will take the time and make sure that their house clean and prepared, and they have their herbs and their food, and they sit in a comfortable position and listen to the man. That's what this is about. People that want to be enlightened, not just people that want education. So if you're just passing through, I'm very thankful that you have passed through. You should sit a little more and be a bit patient, you know, because I have a lot more to say. Be a bit patient. You're in the theater here. You understand? We have shorter videos to offer if you want to come out of this video and go on our YouTube webpage there. You will see some shorter videos. Some of them as short as 5 minutes. You can go and maybe enjoy that. We have intriguing topics, just as intriguing as this. Don't worry, you would not lose anything. I have a lot of short videos. So thank you for coming, and I would still invite you to stay and continue to listen to this presentation. Less than that. Good. All right. So yes, I would agree we should move on and get to the meat of the matter. All right. So this is a video that is from the all courtesy of the Melchizedek Order YouTube channel, and all blessings to the brethren in Tanzania, directly affiliated with the Melchizedek Order YouTube channel. You could go to the channel and see the full video, all courtesy of the Melchizedek Order YouTube channel. Melchizedek Order House in Tanzania, reasoning. And there's an elder that will be reasoning to the brethren from Tanzania directly. And well, let's just listen to what he has to say, and then I will say what I have to say.
People to understand. Exactly. Because I base and I foundation is on the Bible, right? That is why when Haile Selassie went to Jamaica in 1966, April 21st, and he met the elder brethren them with the locks, right? I don't know if they have heard this story before, but he tell one policeman who used to beat up Rasta, go and ask them why they grow their hair so tall. He didn't say long. He said, go and ask how they grow so tall. And the brethren said, Majesty send you to ask me that? He said, yes. Right? They quoted the answer to the policeman to give to His Majesty, all come from the Bible.
Oh,
they did not the Bible.
Yeah.
They did not use no other book to tell nothing. Number 6, Jeremiah, you name it. All come from Bible. His Majesty turned around and tell the policeman.
It is when he is visiting Jamaica, 1966. Yeah.
24th of April. His Majesty then turned around and tell the man, leave them alone, for they know what they are doing. You hear what His Majesty tell the man them? Leave them alone, for they know what they are doing. So if the Bible come now and tell I, you know, because when one was a youth, you're a child, but when you become grown, you're supposed to increase in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So as time goes, I want to read the Bible more and more, and so the eyes open up now to this name, because if the Bible tell you about Melchizedek, that is the name you're supposed to use. Because when you look around today, Nyabinghi has become a plaything in my sight. Coming from when I first met the elders and them, the same elder brethren from 1983 until now. Nyabinghi is like a plaything. Everybody on YouTube now and the Nyabinghi, man with the head wrap up and the thing in Nyabinghi. But in the days gone,
yes,
no man can come with no head wrap and say you're Nyabinghi and playing drum and all that kind of thing. That is why Prince Emmanuel, who they call the Bobo man today, separate himself from the brethren them, because he used to be among the elders and them, and he come with the head wrap, and when the brethren them realize this thing is wrong, they tell him, well, no, you have to remove your head wrap or go. And the man we call Prince Emmanuel, the Bobo Shanti man, then we see with the head wrap up. He said, no, he rather go. And that is how they splinter off and start the Bobo thing. Then try to come about and this one and all that. But this Melchizedek Nyabingi order was the foundation of I. Highly high.
Ya, Edamani anazungumzia habari kwamba Nyabingi.
All right. So give thanks for that reasoning there from that brethren there. Thanks for the Melchizedek order YouTube channel and the group there, the Melchizedek order group. So what we're getting there from the Melchizedek order is, as even the name Melchizedek was highlighted too, the brother that the spokesman was speaking of Haile Selassie and the Bible and the situation in Jamaica and all of that. Thanks to that knowledge there, good information. He also obviously came down to the whole aspect of the Nyabingi. And I could see, you know, for sure that is something to the heart. He clarified, he put himself aside and said, well, listen, this is how I feel. Let me make you clearly understand, this is my feeling here. I see Nyabingi has become a plaything, all on YouTube. And I mean, maybe sometimes you'd have to hear a person explain themselves a little clearer. But if it's the YouTube or because of what he's seen on YouTube, you know, man with the head wrap up, which he means the turban, and as an elder one, he would understand the order in the sense that he knows of it at least. That's why he came down to some history now. You know, Prince Emmanuel, the man they call the Bobo man. You know, he's the one that's separate from the elders, you know. The man that they call Prince Emmanuel, man, the Bobo man, he's separate from the elders. Basically, somewhat paraphrasing as much as I, but yet still trying to be as accurate as I can of what he said. And you know, the head wrap up thing, you know, deal with the head wrap up. Now, as I said, on a theological level, I don't want to go too far on that level, theologically, for sure. I mean, we did a program, Why Do Some Rastaman Wear Turban? That's also on the YouTube channel for those who really want to learn. It's right there. Why do some Rastamans wear turban or cover their head? Something of the sort. But it's right there. You know, if you really want to know, I don't want to go into the theology of it. No. On the cosmos of it, to bring up the constellation, Botes, the star after us. Yeah, turban we're talking about there. Yeah, I don't want to go too far. Or even biblically, cover not your heads, words given unto the high priest. But I don't want to go into that to the fullest. But the historical part of it is what I want to deal with as far as the history that we have learned and even wherever the history comes from. Because it's basically history the brother is saying there. Now, as I said, the reason why I thought it was necessary to bring it to the forefront like that, with no disrespect to the brethren or none of the brethren there, believe me, I want to make that very clear. I no disrespect. That's the brother opinion. I would consider that an opinion, but I mean, believe my Lord, the other brethren there's no disrespect. I tell you, you know, I have to ask for guidance to do this because it's a touching subject. You know what I mean? And in the same way, brethren is passionate, I will get passionate too. You know what I mean? And even if that is the case, in the course of this video, let me make it clear, it is not directly for the brother or even the others, because more coming, that I will bring forward when we hear their rendition. These are ones that tried to walk the road before me, as the brother say, from the 80s. Well, okay, let's leave it at that. But as the brother say, the elders you meet in the 80s. I told you of the 90s. It's good to understand these things, you know, if you're serious about really understanding the knowledge. Because people will say, well, you know, man, let's done with that. Let's not bother with that. You say, let's not bother with that. Let's not talk with that, about that, because nobody can really sit and explain it properly, clearly, so that we can really ease off and stop it now. So we can't. So we just pretend, sweep it under the rug. Well, we're not sweeping it under the rug today. Because you could see the brother talking to the African brothers there. So, you know what I mean, he giving them the doctrine and making it clear. I mean, that's the fight. That's what he defending, that's what he defending. Bobo man do it too. Bobo man tell you, yeah. And they go around the bingy. Well, they might not say go around the bingy, man, but the bingy thing ain't the right thing. See, the man had a red flag down and the red down on the flag. Yeah, man, the man are keeping no Sabbath, you know, and yeah. The man eat fine food. And then the bingy man tell you, yeah, man, but enough of them bubble man eat fish. You know, and nothing that's being said is actually a lie, back and forward, but it's being said. It's being said. And I just need to grow up. Yeah. Anyway. So I think it's necessary. Eh? I'm glad you're patient with me tonight or today. Whenever we're celebrating Marcus Messiah Garvey. I'm glad you're patient with me because, yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable. You got something to do, you can press pause and go and come again and watch it later. I'm taking my time. Yeah, taking my time. So you heard what the brother said, clearly. I'm not going to realms on it too much longer. Let's continue. Okay. All right, this brother here, I think his name is Brother Emmanuel as well. He has a full length, when I say full length, I think it's about 10 or 11 minutes, this presentation he made. He also is making a strong plea for keeping the Nyabingi Rastafari fire alive. He has his own outlook on it for sure, definitely. He believes in the look, the specific look. You know, he brought it down to the reggae singers, which he highlighted a few. One he referred to as a messenger. That's how he referred to him as. So since he didn't call no other name, I ain't gonna call no other name neither. And some other ones. But he highlighted Brother Chronix, and you see Chronix as the shining light. He said Chronix has the look. So the brother deep in the doctrine, he clearly said Nyabingi, what we call Nyabingi, has the deepest doctrine. You know, interesting. You know, as I said, you know, believe me, man, this is all love. At least for, I don't know the brother neither. Believe me, in all due respect, you know. And I'm only doing this in a sense. As I said, I'm giving you where I got the information from, that you could check the Brethren's channel. So you see the video up there, Keep Nyabingi Rastafari Alive. This is Brother Emmanuel. I'll get the full name. And you can check the channel and watch the whole video. And you know what I mean, if you like the information, subscribe. And the same thing with the Melchizedek order. This is no ill feeling. The Brethrens them have an opinion. Somewhat highlighting their opinion to the world, because you're listening to. And at the end of the day, if you are within yourself, you would say, man, priest, what you saying is foolishness compared to what that man saying. That man have the truth. Well, then there you go. You understand? But I'm showing you what the Brethren are saying, and show you why it's necessary for us to go into what we're going into. All right. Here we go. This is the brother's opinion here.
Their beards are sharp because they're barbered beards, beards that are cut and trimmed. Some of them drink alcohol. Some of them do, let's say, bad drugs again. This is the example that others who grow their locks will follow, unless they themselves are leaders and not followers. And if they're leaders themselves, they won't even watch that, and they will do their own thing and be who they should be. So, that's it really. I'm talking about people like the messenger. I'm talking about one of the Malis who thinks it's okay for a so-called Rus to ink up himself, or others who might have piercings in their ears, their nose, or elsewhere, none of which was in the inception of Rastafari, and none of it is part of the doctrine, and I would say it is counter doctrine. So, it's too late for these artists that I speak of and the current crop of artists, such as the thin one, work that out, thin as a beanpole. It's too late for them. They're not going to change now. They're not suddenly going to get doctrine, because they sell their product according to how they manufacture themselves. And that is the point, that they're manufactured. They're not natural man. They're not Nyahbingi. So it's down to man like Chronics now. So Chronics, if you're out there, I beg you, do listen to me and start a new generation of reggae artists, black reggae artists, be it from Jamaica or elsewhere, who adhere to doctrine, who look the part. And that in itself will encourage the followers to look like you and do as you do, same way. Otherwise, it won't be long before Nyabingi doctrine is lost forever. And for me, that would be a crime. Nyabingi is the inception of Rastafari. No matter what you practice now, be it Bobo Shanti, be it 12 tribes, everything came from Nyabingi, the oldest mansion of Rastafari, and by far the deepest doctrine. So Chronics, it's for you to lead the way. Encourage the artists of your generation to run the thing correctly, and we could arrive at a situation in maybe 20 years' time where Rastafari is truly globally accepted and respected by virtue of doctrine and discipline.
Give thanks. Blessed love, give thanks for such. Giving you again another rendition as you see the order played out. Marcus Messiah Garvey, Earthlight Celebration. That maybe, I'm not sure what year that would have been, 20 a while ago. But the point is, you know, that hymn again, Greenland Heights Mountain, that's one of the hymns Marcus Messiah Garvey really delighted. Yes. Okay. Now, as I said, we get into some very key points. Please do not leave. If you think you gotta go, please return to this. Please, please. Everything will be clearly seen to stand in order. When you read the book, The Rastafarians by what's his name again, Honorable Princess, the author of the book, The Rastafarians?
Leonard E. Barrett.
Leonard E. Barrett, yes. Leonard E. Barrett, the author of the book, The Rastafarians. There's a specific mention made of the Honorable King Emmanuel. Well, several times throughout the book, as the book is dealing directly with the Rastafari and the growth of it. Also, brother, the late Barry Chavez. I'm sure we all know of the works of Barry Chavez, the professor I think he is as well. And then, of course, Professor Rex Nettleford. All of these individuals would have spoken or written of in articles or in their books directly speaking of the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards historically within his role within the rise of Rastafari in Jamaica. And they all would speak of, as well as a manuscript that came out of Germany entitled Rastafarian in Jamaica from 1930 to 1990. And that was written by that German author there. You remember his name as well?
Frank Jan van Gogh.
Yeah, Frank Jan van Gogh. Yes, that's it. Frank Jan van Gogh, if that's. Yeah, and he within his scope, he also spoke of the Honorable King Emmanuel extensively in his manuscript. I mean, anything you write historically is only amongst Rasta you don't hear about Bongo Eddie. But when the historians come in, there's a lot to be said. And to me, that's a shame. Remember I said I grew up in the Nyabinghi housing. Prince Emmanuel name only come up when it's a challenge to me. Eh? He don't fit nowhere in the narrative of this history. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. That's my testimony there, what I live. I grew up till I become an adult. And even up to now, it's as if he wasn't around. It's a shame. It's similar to how the Babylon system hide Marcus Garvey from us. It's similar to how they hide Haile Selassie from us. So even amongst us now, we pretend as if we never hear about Bongo Eddie. We never hear nothing about Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards. We don't have nothing to say unless it's something that kind of, but them man there. It always has to be about, but them man there kind of level. And them man, something them. Okay. Let's check with the historians for the moment. Of course, some historians have their own opinion, but as we've been doing thus far, we've been sifting opinions away from facts. So let me just continue here from this online 21 Knowledge Rastafari from PDF. And I also referenced other authors and professors, etc., that you could refer to for similar information to what I'm going to highlight here. It says here, the Rastafari do not have a formalized structure with anointed leaders. Elders are generally given respect. This is considered something they earn through living the Rastafari way for many years. As such, there are few figures who are held above others as successors of the original preachers. So when we're talking about original preachers now, we're going into, Dunkley and of course Leonard P. Howell and the such. And so these are the original preachers. Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards, this has from 1915 to 1994, founded the group or mansion of Bobo Shanti in 1958 in Bull Bay, Jamaica. It was then that he called the first Nyahbingi in 1958. Then he said, these are communal celebrations of Rastafari. You see, and Edward lived in Back-a-Wall commune in Kingston until 1966, when his group was driven out by police. And, he claimed to have appeared in St. Elizabeth. Wow. He claimed to have appeared in St. Elizabeth, and that he had no father and no mother, a terrible man, and that he was the reincarnation of the biblical Melchizedek. Yeah. He was a key figure in the confrontation with the Jamaican government in the 1950s and the 60s. Key figure. And led an attempted repatriation in 1959 that failed. Okay. So this report here, online report here, giving a little history there. And I would say that same book by Barrett, that might be one of the easier of the 4 references that I pointed out outside of this one that you could put your hands on. The book is The Rastafarians. But now what I'm showing you here, outside of us and our little vibes, history, every turn, even all the way in Germany, history is telling you that Prince Emmanuel, Charles Edwards, who founded the Bobo Shanti, it was he that called the first Nyabingi in 1958. Let me make sure my mic is on. I think the mic may have been off for a bit when the brother that was talking about chronics was speaking. I just said a little thing. I don't think it was a minute, but then I realized I think the mic was off. But and I said something interesting. If you could read lips, check it out. Very interesting. We don't reverse it, man. Somebody that's hearing impaired may be able to read it for you. It's quite interesting. So yeah, according to history, Prince Emmanuel called for the first Nyabingi in 1958. Barry Chavens said this, man. Esteemed Barry Chavens, man. Esteemed. Barry Chavens is so esteemed. He's not a Rasta man. But he has given so much respect to the Rastafari history that even before he passed on, it's as if, you know, in Jamaica, I make him an honorary Rasta man. He would have a special place at every event or certain events where he would go and speak and, you know, relay the history. He was so versed in it. He speak of Prince Emmanuel being the man that had, as this is saying here, the first Nyabingi, Professor Rex Nettleford. And again, we point you to the document of Barrett and other books. Rasta and Resistance. Read Rasta and Resistance, all of these books, which are done by scholars, not necessarily Rasta men, clearly showing you that the first Nyabingi, and here the mystic, and there's not just one source in it, it's so many sources. The first Nyabingi was called and held by the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. Hear this now. Between 3,000, it wasn't less than 3,000. Between 3,000 to 4,000, maybe more, at any one given time, people for sure, but 3,000 at least Rastafari gathered together for this. This is the repatriation attempt that the man here said failed, or this online failed. Yeah, this is opinion. That's his opinion. Maybe that's what he believed. I don't know. Okay, but this ain't no opinion. 3,000 or more Rastafari, and this is how they describe them in the history, not people. Rastafari gathered. At Bakawal for 21 days. Enough brutality happened after that. They ended at 21 days. But we're not getting into that. That's not what it is. Let's not stop there. I could have stopped at the theology about the wrapping of the head. We would have still be there. Let's not stop at if it was supposed to happen so, and who pull off the finger of Victoria statue, and why the police come and start beating and XYZ. No. Rex Nettleford say, they beat King Emmanuel to a pulp. It's the morgue that carry the body, man. The morgue. It's only when they open the door and they see the man sitting up in his blood. Rex Nettleford, the professor. Yeah. Say no man ever get beat like Prince Emmanuel. So first Nyabingi, you may say, all right, well, good point, good show. Clap, 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 clap. All right, let's move on now. What's the next video going to be about? We ain't done. We ain't done, but trust me, we ain't done. Now you may say, and to be honest, maybe nobody's saying it, but let me just put something on the table. Let's make it a little more interesting now. So you may say, at least if I was on that side of the fence, I would say, okay, yeah. Bunga Eddie did popularize the thing. Yeah. He did. All right. You got me there. Yeah, I ain't mocking nobody. I have to got you there. Cause you never had nothing to say about this. This is like you discover something in your house that your parents hiding from you. You say, oh, what, mommy, what is this? I tell her I grew up amongst them, the man. I grew up amongst them. I never hear about this. Nobody ever tell me this. I say I see the elders, I see Bonages with my eyes and speak to him. Nobody ever tell me this. Although he didn't tell me this, I must give enough respect to Congo Rocky. And I speak of who I meet as an elder. And there are other elders too that I've heard that Elder Pidao, but I never meet. But they speak highly, man, highly. Elder Pidao said King Emmanuel is the perfect man. Ras Israel, Doctrine can tell you that. He's the man that did the interview. He can tell you that. Brother Israel, that you see on YouTube playing the reggae music, he can tell you that. Dubtronics, link him up and ask him if Elder Pido didn't say Prince Emmanuel is the perfect man. None of us, this is what Elder Pido said, none of us live up to his standard. Elder Pido say that. All right, yeah. Congo Rocky referred to King Emmanuel as our father. His stories he telling me, man. Congo Rocky, man, telling me stories about Prince Emmanuel. And he called him our father, Elder Congo Rocky, husband of my baby, our father, as how the man called the man, our father. Our father. So anyway, you might say, okay, yeah, King Emmanuel, not King, no, you wouldn't say that. Bongo Eddie, man. Bongo Eddie popular. Sick. Bongo Eddie popularized the thing, man. But man, we were doing that long time in the bush, in the hills, long time we kicking Congo Bongo, man. He want to make the thing big up there. The bush is back, all of us went back a while. Try not to make it. All of us went back. I mean, some, not everyone, but yeah, man, but we're doing that before him, man. You make him okay, come on, bush and learn it. Whatever, all right. Okay. Let's say all of that is so. Let's say that is so. That, yeah, he popularized it, but we were doing it before. All right. Okay. But to me, it's a shame that I have to pull this evidence out for you to admit at least that he is the man that brought the Nyabingi international. It's a shame. I tell you, I grew up to this day, all the history books, all the writers, all the authors, highlighting that the first Nyabingi was in 58, from the 1st to the 21st of March, held by the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. So even if, yeah, you were doing it a few years prior to this in the bush, let's say that, okay, yeah, you were doing it, man. We were doing it. That's where he come and get it from. We see us doing it. All right. Okay. All right. I get your point. I get your point. So why you don't have nothing at all to say about this then? When last you draw 3,000 to 4,000 people at a Nyabingi? When last? And you don't have nothing at all in our Rasta curriculum of talking to say, yeah, man, I remember man like Bongo Eddie that went down to farm the Bobo man then. You know, you don't know Bongo Eddie think that him is Melchizedek. Or give him his respect, because he's the man that was the first Nyabingi. You can't say that. Nobody can say that. So hard, that's wickedness. Yeah, man. That's wickedness. That's like what Babylon do us. You rip it out of our curriculum. That's sad. Whether you like the order or not, man. Whether you the man just too powerful for you. That's sad. Real sad. It's a shame that all the historians, people from Germany, what a man name? Yeah, that man there. Have to come all the way from Germany with his big fat white book. Big book, eh? Big book, I tell you. Enough information on Rastafari from them times. I mean, some opinions obviously in them books as this, even this thing here. But this is, I mean, the opinions, and then there's facts. This ain't nobody opinion that King Emmanuel held the first Nyabingi. Man, let's lock this off, man, and move on, man. Thanks and praises. Marcus Garvey, Earthstrong. All right. This is coming from the YouTube channel, all courtesy the Rastaites. This is brother Flacco. Enough respect to Rastafari. Flacco, blessed love, my Lord. Give thanks for the information that you have been putting out, and you know, I hope that this will just add to your work still. You know, this is in no way at all to, you don't know, it's just to be, as far as this here, for sure, is to promote the wonderful information here. This is an ancient testimony, Mama Dean, about Bongo Watu. This is the first part. And as I said, I would invite you to, you know, just type in the information and go and check the interview in whole, very in-depth interview. I'm not sure if I ever personally met Mama Dean, to be honest. I get the impression that they had two conferences in Barbados in 97, it was 97, like that, 97, 98, I think it's 97, August and for July. And, you know, a lot of elders came down there. I went down there as well, obviously, that's what I'm saying. So I think I heard on another interview mention her being down there, but I'm not even sure, I'm not sure, but I do give thanks still for Sister Dean, and wherever she may be in the earth, I pray it's just job blessings. But I mean, I don't get a full impression that she is the biggest fan of Bobo Shanti neither, but yet still she has some information that she actually expressed in this interview she did with Brother Flacco that I found quite interesting. And I thought that in the discussion here, it would be good to bring it out. You know, she is a student of Ras Bonoji's Bongo Watu, and you know, strong Nyabingi woman, basically. So, you know, in the spirit of coming back to the original, because as I said, Marcus Garvey is the first Rasta man. You know, you may say, well, you know, I have no locks, but yeah, but who we would call the first set of Rastafari were not ones that were pushing the locks. You know, we know that as the first set of man, them were not the locks man, but we see them as the first Rasta man, of which I understand the theory. But as I said, Marcus Garvey, it clearly, even before the coronation, as he is the prophet John the Divine, John the Baptist, pointed us to the king. So if Christ is the Rasta man and John the Baptist point to the Rasta man, John the Baptist have to be a Rasta man too. You understand? So Garvey is the first Rasta man. I mean, that's just what it is. But who we consider the first elders thereof then as such, you know, for example, Leonard P. Howell and the Pinnacle establishment, you know, and the Pinnacle, they used to keep the Sabbath, and they used to be dressed in white, just like how Bobo Shanti keep the Sabbath, and how Bobo Shanti dress in white. This is the Pinnacle. See where we start at the Pinnacle. Now you may say, but wait, I mean, you know, so you know, that's how they did it then. But no, but hold on. I'm just running off of the premise of the first thing, you know, like what was first and who was first and who brought the order first and which is the first order. So I'm just showing you from the Pinnacle. So one will argue and say, well, yeah, Pinnacle is not Nyabingi. All right, fair enough. Where Nyabingi spring from there? Nyabingi is youth black faith. If you go deep into the certain parts of Jamaica, certain elders will tell you that's not the root of it, but that's not my conversation right now. The general is that the Nyabingi order as we know it comes out of the youth black faith, you know, Nyabingi, the order, just the full order. So that should be, I guess, the first order. That's what the brethren then were holding. All right. Youth black faith is Bongo Watu, Ras Bonoji. That's why he's usually seen as the elder of Nyabingi, the Nyabingi order as such. All right. So let's just hear what Sister Mama Dean have to say about Bongo Watu. Let me make sure everything is perfectly aligned. All right.
You know, But Bongo, what made his contribution significantly in the faith? Did he have a camp at Bakawal? Because there were many camps at Bakawal. Did he want to have his own camp?
Yeah. Bongo Waters' own camp was at Trenchtown.
Trenchtown?
Trenchtown. So this youth black faith thing which Bongo Waters tells ones about, it was at Trenchtown.
Okay.
And every Saturday, every man just up in a white, robe and thing and gone a Bongo Water.
So he has...
have them white suits still.
You said Saturday he was running a Sabbath?
No, let me just say that there. No, before we go too far. Now, Sister Dean here, from my understanding, is quite versed in the Amharic language. I'm not too sure in the culture, but, well, the language, it seems like, from what I'm gathering. So she's a strong advocate for the Sabbath day, but she strongly highlights that she sees that the Sabbath should be on a Tuesday, because Tuesday is when the Ethiopian, that's the Ethiopian Saturday, the Tuesday. Now, I've heard that even before I came across her with that. I've definitely heard that. And I've read that in articles, usually written by Rastafari, explaining maybe their own belief. I'm not too, don't get me wrong, if I'm missing something, I'm open to learn. If you know about it and you think you have a better source that you can point us to show that Saturday is Tuesday in Ethiopia. And why I say it like that, I mean, this is a international world now. It's not as if it's so far away and we're guessing what's going on over there. You communicate with people from Ethiopia daily. I mean, so, you read history itself and you get a good understanding of where things was even 100 years ago, even 1,000 years ago. For example, when Haile Selassie was crowned, it was a Sunday. From my understanding of the historical record, it was a Sunday in Ethiopia, So, and they align with the whole science of the Sunday. Maybe they don't do exactly what the world does on their Sundays, Mondays, whatever, from ancient time. But I really have not grasped that concept yet. Let me just be clear with that, about Tuesday being the Saturday in Ethiopia. But the sister definitely has her outlook on that one here. So let's get that again there. Very important information here.
Yes, I'm saying, you're one of the students, and so on.
Right, so, Bongo, what made his contribution significantly in the faith? Did he have a camp at Bakawal? Because there were many camps at Bakawal. Did he want to have his own camp?
You hear that there were many camps at Bakawal.
Yeah. Bongo Waters' own camp was at Trenchtown.
Trenchtown?
Trenchtown. So this youth black faith thing which Bongo Waters tells ones about, it was at Trenchtown.
Okay.
And every Saturday, every man just up in a white, robe and thing and gone a Bongo Water.
So you hear that now? Every Saturday, man dress up in a white. Not me saying, Mama Dean, I wasn't there. I wasn't born yet. Every Saturday, man dress up in a white robe and thing. Ghana Bongo Watu. Who don't have the robe, they still come in the white. She gonna say that somewhere.
So he has
have them white suits still.
You said Saturday he was running a Sabbath?
In those days.
Sabbath?
In those days it was Saturday. But after when the Ethiopian Orthodox Church came and once found out that the week began on a Wednesday, it would be Rome, Hamus, Ard, Kidame, Eud, Sanyo, Maxanyo. They realized that Maxanyo would be a Tuesday. So Tuesday was the Sabbath. Well, the Sabbath keeping get mashed up there, so because some of the man them never understand how this going and think Saturday was still correct. But from what I learned, Saturday is a Western Sabbath day. It's a Sabbath of the West, and where Prince Emmanuel, he took it over and said it's Saturday too, so they still have some lax people who accept Sunday.
So what went on in Bongo Waters camp in Trenchtown? What were the activities?
No, I must say. As you could hear, she mentioned the Honorable King Emmanuel. So she showed, you know what I mean, Prince Emmanuel still keep up the Saturday thing. Yeah, Prince Emmanuel still keep up. I want y'all to check the language, man. And I need to cool out. There's no need to argue and fight about who first and who last. You're just making yourself look a kind of how, man. Sure. What I'm saying is, as she said, Prince Emmanuel still a keep up, still a keep up, still a keep up. Keep up what? Every Saturday we used to gather by Bongo Watu. By who? By Bongo Watu. Ras Bonagis, Ras Bonagis. Every what? Every Saturday, every Sabbath. You sure Bongo Watu? Mama Dean says, ask Elder Flacco. He did the interview. Elder Pidal said, Prince Emmanuel is the perfect man. None of us can compare. Ask Ras Israel, Doctrinics, Facebook. He did the interview. But I must say, the sister said something like, some laxman still a keep up, some laxman. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. It's not necessary.
On a Wednesday, it will be Rome, Hamus, Art, Kidame, Eud, Sanyo, Maxanyo. They realized that Maxanyo would be a Tuesday. So Tuesday was the Sabbath. Well, the Sabbath keeping get mashed up there, so because some of the man them never understand how this going and think Saturday was still correct. But from what I learned, Saturday is a Western Sabbath day. It's a Sabbath of the West. And well, Prince Emmanuel, he took it over and said it's Saturday too. So you still have some lax people who accept Sunday.
So what went on in Bongo Waters camp?
Some lax people accept that Sabbath. It's all right.
You still have some lax people who accept.
I can't see Rastafari referring to the next Rastafari as lax people.
So what went on in Bongo Waters camp in Trenchtown? What were the activities?
Drum beating, playing, and chants of ancient songs that ancient black people created. Most of these choruses were songs which black people created. Some of them was even taken from the Ira D. Sankey and the sacred songs and soul. But you don't get those Sankeys no more for whatever reason. You can only get redemption songs nowadays. But that is proven to I then, as a one coming from way back in the years, that there was something about those Sankey that were not suitable or acceptable to the world of people who brought us here as slaves. That is why them hide away those Sankeys. We can't see them no more. So then bring a new one, a redemption song, which does not contain many of those ancient songs no more.
Yeah, because the Sankeys are Christian songs, you know.
Yes.
No. Yeah, so that's like with the Sankeys Christian songs. All right. Once again, courtesy of Rastaites. So what the sister said there is that when she was asked, so what else do you do when you went to Bongo Watu camp? And yeah, we would be there and we would play drums, Nyahbingi order. And we would sing hymns from the Sankey, sacred songs and solos. And then she went on and said that she has a certain love for this Sankey, sacred songs and solos. Is that so? Yes, because I mean, there's certain, that's why you can't find it. She said that it's hard to find, which it is. And, you know, there's certain powerful hymns within it. And we used to sing from that, and the wicked understand that we could tap into some of them hymns there. So they replace it with the redemption song. Certain hymns, you can't get it. So she advocated, not the first time I hear that reason from her, for, you know, man using the sacred songs and solos again, like we used to do. Anyone can tell you that the sacred songs and solos is the main hymn book on the Bobo Shanti altar. That is why you listen to any service, hymn number whatever taken from the sacred songs and solos. Hymn number 54 taken from the sacred songs and solos. Hymn 142 taken from the sacred songs and solos. The sacred songs and solos. That's, I mean, any Bobo Shanti can tell you that. The sacred songs and solos. Yeah, they do have many hymn books for you, you know. But King Emmanuel, for whatever reason, chose. Remember, King Emmanuel is a mystic man. Chose for I to hold on to the sacred songs and solos. And now here comes Mama D, who said that we used to use the sacred songs and solos. When did we use the sacred songs and solos? When we used to gather on Saturday, when we dressed in white. And even if you don't have your white robe as yet, you have your white garments, and we sing from the sacred songs and solos, just like they used to do at the Pinnacle. Come home, priest, come home to the original order, like we used to have back in the days with the elders. Come home. I'm coming. I'll be there soon. Just give me a little while. So here we have now Elder Bonga Isaac. Oh man, let me see.
And the wine.
Yeah, man. Yes, Elder Bonga Isaac, man. No, yeah, man. Give thanks, Elder Flacco. Yeah, I definitely give thanks for, you know, this interview and many other interviews. I've never had the privilege to meet Bonga Isaac personally, but I would really pray, be the will of the Most High, that is something that will manifest itself in the future. So this reasoning here is about the sacrament, the holy herb. And Bonga Isaac is going to give his own opinion. There's some opinions here, but also lay down some fact that I just want to highlight. That's all. And we will seal this up now.
Yeah, man, the sacrament. Sacrament.
That's why I said, amongst ourselves, when I speak that herb is our sacrament, we should know what we are saying. See, like not to smoke the herb is sacrament, and I say to my brethren that what we should do to fulfill the sacramentalness of the administration of sacrament, the meaning of sacrament, is to make some herb wine.
Okay.
Not just strong that way to raise your head. See? And at that time, when we went to take sacrament, we use a little tip.
Okay.
And not only priest, that is his authority, put a little tip. But not just smoke herb. Smoke herb is no sacrament. I will speak that anywhere I go, Rasta.
But the is a burning flock. It's unquenchable.
Yes, as the smoking flock, I will not quench. Yes.
And smoke out of his nostrils and fire out of his mouth.
Yes. Then, brethren who desire to burn, what we always do in ancient time when we rise, we never go in the tabernacle and burn.
You burn outside.
Brethren of a little shed, especially the brethren who burn the chalice. And we always get the chalice down, we sit around in the little tent, different from in the tabernacle,
And one going like the chalice now, is psalms.
Bless it.
Bless it and praise it and pass it and give me.
Can you remember one of the psalms?
Yes.
Then you remember one of the psalms?
Well, you know, this one of them.
All right, I hope you heard all of that clearly. All right. So what the good brother is saying here, well, I think you picked up, he's saying that, well, you know, he don't think the smoking of the herb is the sacrament, really. He's actually encouraging ones that what they should do, they should take the herb and make some nice herb wine. And at the service, the priest would administer the herb wine and just put a little tip on your tongue and you know, just, you know, you don't want to get over high or whatever. And he thinks that's it. And to give this justice, the discussion here is really about the Ethiopian Christ Mass, but in connection to how the Orthodox faith would have carried it out. So again, to give it some justice, I think that Brother Bongo Isaac is leaning strongly to the Orthodox that Nyahbingi, Rastafari should take a lot of examples from the Ethiopian Orthodox and the Ethiopian tradition, which we have neglected to do. You know, that is true on cultural levels, and I know he means on some biblical levels too, like the religious, theological, the carrying out of the clergy work and all of that. I know that's exactly where he is. So the priesthood and all of these things, how priests are anointed, and that's what he's dealing with. But what he's highlighting now as facts is that he's saying that when we used to go into the tabernacle, we never used to smoke no herbs in the tabernacle. He said we would be outside under a different shed or in a building, and we would pass the cup around with psalms before we go in the tabernacle. Now, when you go into the Nyabingi, as the Nyabingi theocracy of Rastafari today, there is smoking in the tabernacle. The chalice pass around in the tabernacle. It's just natural. That's what happens. No disrespect. I'm just telling you that's what happens. But you do not smoke in a Bobo Shanti tabernacle. You don't come in the tabernacle and be smoking herb in the Bobo Shanti house. That does not happen. It's a different order altogether. So according to Bongo Isaac, how we used to do it. Now again, you know, the brethren that was speaking before was talking about, you know, the 80s. With these elders here now, them is the elders that walk with King Emmanuel, not Elder Flacco, Bongo Isaac, Mama D. They're not Prince Emmanuel, personally. So they were from them times, not just Prince Emmanuel times, 1980s, but I talk in 60s, 50s, 40s. So when Bongo Isaac will be telling you that we never used to smoke in the tabernacle as an order, that order is still kept up today within the construct of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress Church of True Divine Salvation. So when Mama Dean is telling you that every Sabbath day, which is the Saturday, we would gather, that alone is kept up by the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress Church of True Salvation up to today. And when she says that we would gather in white, and not just white robes. And even if you don't have your robe yet, yes, you'll have your white suit. The world knows that that is kept up by the Bobo Shanti order up to today. She is advocating for man to bring back in the Sanki's sacred songs and solos, because there's too much power in that book. We should still be singing hymns out of it. come to Sabbath school, Mama D. You'll get at least 7 hymns out of that book. The Sankey sacred songs and solos. So some of these, you know what I mean, just come. And when I say just come, maybe they come when I come to it. Yeah, we just come. We just come. We just come. Telling me about, yeah, you gotta come back to the original way. Them is just talk, fluff. That's why I say just give, you take an hour and give me an hour. All of what I said tonight, I could have put it in an hour. But this is my time, so I just feel to free up myself. But we're fighting for who first? When the historians say that Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards was the first to hold a Nyahbingi. That's what the record says, not what rumors and who believe. That's the facts. That can stand in a court of law, and we're running for first. Just cool out. In a disrespectful manner in certain ways, though, not necessarily to the individuals that we showed earlier. But believe me, as I said, I've come across it, so I know what I'm saying. And I would say, even if you think you have a side argument to that, well, yeah, he brought it out, but, so why you kept it quiet? Why you don't have nothing to say? You have so much hatred for Bongo Eddie that there's nothing good to say? Oh man, come on. A man that according to Peter grew up perfect amongst us? What you have on him? That you have to refer to him in them kind of terms too. So which one really come first? The Nyahbingi or the Bobo Shanti? Both are African. One's lost themselves fighting over the Jamaican vortex. Jamaican discussion, this is it. All this was Jamaican business. This is Jamaican business here. Bacawal and Trenchtown. This is cosmic, yo. The Nyahbingi and the Bobo Shanti is the same thing. You could deny it if you want. And at the same time, as I said, the cosmic is from Africa. For we're Nyahbingi in Africa and we're Bobo Shanti in Africa. So yeah, what you talking about? Yeah. Now before we seal up tonight, I just have one more, a little story that I would like to just give you, just preempting or going before what I'm going to seal up with. Yeah, so there was a time that on the hill, the Honorable Priest Shimran gave me this version of the story, because there's another version that came from the other side, where the Nyahbingi elders came and visited Bulbe, came and visited King Emmanuel camp. Now, as I said, Elder Kongaraki told me this story long before I ever even met Priest Shimran. And he told me that once they went up in a van with the drums and everything to Bobo Shanti Hill. This is the Nyahbingi. Kongaraki tell me this story. Eh? Okay, as he said, to visit our father. And he said when they reached to the gate, the Bobo at the gate was giving them enough problems, telling them, man, you can't come here with them red down, all them red down you have, man. Red down flag. And so it's enough man screwing on enough of the bingy man, them go on the other side of the road. And so what am man dealing with, man? Screwing and everything and rah. He said, man, a black cloud just coming from the east with a terrible rain that they had to jump in the van and drive away. And he says, lucky thing they drive away. If they stay a moment more, they get stuck, landslide, something for the kind of rain that came that day. This is Congo Rocky telling me that story. Eh? All right. So obviously I ain't gonna call his name. He said that, and that's not what he telling me. He said they come back, and when they return, they set themselves aright, and they could come in, and they rock the Nyabingi, the version of the Nyabingi that people call Bingi. What you call Bingi, then you go Bingi, because when they go our Nyabingi, you say we go into service. It is a different kind of vibes. It is a different vibes. And I always say, you know, just to put in a little bit of theology in it, in the 68 Psalms, it says that the players and the instruments, you know what I mean, the singers go before and the players and the instruments follow after. That's the 68 Psalms, if you know your Psalms. The players, the singers go before and the players and the instruments follow after. And interestingly, in the Nyahbingi order of Bobo Shanti, our choruses and our hymns always start off with the singing, and then the instruments come in a bit after, as you would know, and then it grows. So in other music, not just the other form of Nyahbingi, almost in every other music, the music starts first, and then the singer come in. But in our vibes, the singing start first, and then the music come in. You know, singers go before, and the players and instruments followed after. That's just a touch of theology, because this was not a theological discussion at all. That's what I'm saying. If it's them levels, I mean, it's like the shower that came down on Congo Rocky, then we have to get out the way fast. I'm telling you, I'm not afraid to tell nobody that, eh? And again, it's not, you know what I mean, as I said, enough respect to if anyone that hold fast to what they subscribe to. I respect that. I actually respect that. You know what I mean? But if you feel you want to challenge me, well, it's up to you. Yeah, it's up to you. Trust me, it's up to you. So the Honorable Priest Shimran now, and Priest Shimran is right here in this picture here. That's him there as a youth. See me right there as a youth? Yeah. So the Honorable Priest Shimran himself, he recalled to me a time when the elders came up there. It's the same time, eh? But this is his rendition of it now. He said, yeah, man, the Nyahbingi elders came up there. And he said he was a young youth. I don't know if he was younger than this, but he said he was a young youth at the time. And he said, man, the man rocking the bingy, brother. Okay, the bingy have a different sound than our bam, bam, Nyahbingi. But anyway, so he said he rocking, and he said some of the elders, the Bobo elders, them now watching him. And the man screwing, you know, like, yeah, the man coming, gonna rock no bingy, you know, vibes. So that's what he telling me, eh? I wasn't there. All right. So he's saying a rocking, brother. This must be, I guess, in the late 80s, whatever. He rocking, I should say, and the man, you know. And I think he said, you know, a few other ones, few empresses or whatever. Can't really go. When nobody going overboard. And he get the stern eye. And he said when he look, he see King Emmanuel, just like this here. King Emmanuel come out on his veranda with his rod in his hand. It's Priest Shimran. King Emmanuel rocking. And them time King Emmanuel in his elder state now, you know, man. Back a while gone, decades ago, man. And he said King Emmanuel rocking to the bingy that the Nyahbingi elders bring in the camp in Bulbi. Remember, they come already now. And because they were not really set for the protocol, they went and came back. Give thanks. with a little assistance, of course, from Marcus Garvey. But give thanks. The first Rasta man, give thanks. So they come back and rock a bingy. I could imagine how you know what I mean, touching that moment was for King Emmanuel. I could imagine. You know. Could imagine. You know, preaching man, tell me. Preaching man say after the bingy, a man asked King Emmanuel what he think about that bingy day, my lord. King Emmanuel say, that was the sweetest bingy I rocked for a long time. So we're not who you think we are. I mean, Prince Emmanuel and me. We are not who you think we are. We don't meditate the way you are trying to perceive us to meditate. Because I could resonate with exactly what the man said. Yeah, give thanks. So, on that note, let's go before. So, yeah. Let me just remind you once again that we still have the special on where you could definitely get the 3 books, the brand new book, the brand new ebook that is The Heavens Declare the Glory of God. Do you have it as yet? And today is Marcus Garvey Earth Day. Before we get to the books, remember we are giving away the Night of the Black Tiger. Today is the last day for you to get the Night of the Black Tiger for free. All you have to do is email us and we send it to you. This is Marcus Garvey Earth Day, so we glorify. And at the same time, as I said, the 3 books are available. The 3 books I'm talking about: The Heavens Declare the Glory. We're talking about The True Biblical Land of Israel and Anu. These 3 books for a bundle price of only 50 United States dollars currency. That's a $60 value you get it for $50. And at the same time, you're getting another $50 value for free, as we will give you a whole month's worth of the Shock of the Hour radio program. Just contact us, priestisaac27@gmail.com, which is the exact code for the PayPal as well. And of course, Cash App also available. Give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. Of course, remember our international homeschool programming. Definitely they're available for your young ones. This is something that they will definitely cherish, at least internally, for the rest of their existence, as it would bring them to a higher level of, I would say, intelligence and knowledge as it relates to astronomy, as it relates to the African history and heritage. Just contact us. We can send you, a free trial if you desire to see even any one of our lessons, and you could judge for yourself. We send you a free lesson that you and your child could sit down and watch and observe, and you could see their reaction and decide if you want to take up the program and continue with this magnificent course. This is Astronomy and African History and Heritage. This is what we call our international homeschool program. As I said, we have a special Shock of the Hour tonight, so for our subscribers, just look forward. It will be wonderful. Yeah, blessed love, as I said. I hope we answered the question. What's the answer? Who came first? The Bingy. For those that don't know, this is the Nyabingi elders. Man says the sweetest bingy here in a long time.
The sheep heard the shepherd calling. the path of righteousness. The Rastafari thy shepherd I shall not want. He maketh me to rest up in green pastures. Us by the river of righteousness by his name's sake. Though he walk through the valley of shadow of death, thou shalt not fear. The shepherd calling. The Rastafari bring back his own. But there was 99 in the shepherd's tent. One stray and gone away. The sheep heard the shepherd say, come to Zion, everything is ready. Oh, blessed Redeemer, King Creator. Human mechanic, the Almighty. The invisible, visible.